Hello dear, you're welcome to another interesting topic in cultural and environmental studies. And today you will be learning about the meaning of the federal government, the arms of the federal government, and the duties of the federal government. The federal government is the first tier of government in Nigeria. It also has three arms, which are the legislative arm, the executive arm, and the judiciary arm. I repeat, the legislative arm, the executive arm, and the judiciary arm of government. The first, which is the legislative arm of government, ensures that they make the laws for the country. So the duty of the legislative arm of government in the federal level is to ensure that they make laws for the country. And the legislative arm consists of the Senate and the House of Representatives. The Senate and the House of Representatives are referred to as the National Assembly. So the legislative arm consists of the Senate and the House of Representatives. And these two, the Senate and the House of Representatives, are referred to as the National Assembly. Okay. The second arm of government in the federal level is the executive arm of government. The executive arm of government enforces the laws. So they ensure that they enforce laws governing the country. And the executive arm consists of the president, the vice president, and the ministers. Okay? The secretary of the federal government is also part of the executive arm. So the executive arm consists of the president, vice president, ministers, and the secretary to the federal government. These are termed as the executive arm of government, or these consist of the executive arm of government. Okay? The third one is the judiciary arm of government. The judiciary arm of government ensures that they interpret the laws of the country. And the judiciary consists of the Supreme Court, the Federal Court of Appeal, and the Federal High Court. Okay? Now, the federal government of Nigeria is seated in Abuja, which is the federal capital territory. Now, the duties of the federal government. The federal government performs its duties through its three arms and its ministries. Okay, so they perform their duties through the arms of government. The first duty of the federal government is that it gives funds to carry out its activities. It gives funds to both state and local governments to carry out the activities in the states and in the local government areas. So it is the duty of the federal government to give funds to both the state and the local government to carry out their functions. Okay, the second duty of the federal government is to ensure that they pay workers their salaries. Okay, so it is responsible for the payment of workers' salaries. Okay, so the duty of the federal government is to ensure that the salaries of the federal workers are paid as at when due. Okay, the third duty of the federal government is to ensure that they construct good roads. So it is responsible for the construction of good roads. So that is also one of the duties of the federal government. Yes, the next duty of the federal government is to provide electricity for its citizens. Okay, constant electricity supply for its citizens is one of the duties of the federal government. Okay, so it is the duty of the federal government to also ensure that they build good hospitals. Okay, so it is responsible for the provision of healthcare delivery through hospitals. Okay, so again here, the next duty of the federal government is to ensure that they build good schools. So it is responsible for the establishment of effective educational system through building of schools, universities, and so on and so forth. So when it comes to qualitative and quantitative education, it is the responsibility of the federal government. Okay. The next duty of the federal government is to protect the country against external attack. So it is the duty of the federal government to protect the country against external attack. Now, the federal government should ensure that they trade and relate with other countries in order to improve the economy of the nation. So it is also the responsibility, the duty of the federal government to trade and relate with other countries in order to improve the economy of the nation. Okay dear, I hope you have a wonderful time learning about the federal government and its duties. Bye.